Okay, so good morning. It is day 3 of the Syrian Refugee Ration Challenge. So I have my breakfast, just a cup of black tea. It's day 3 now of using this same tea bag, so the tea is quite weak now, but I have a fresh one for tomorrow. I struggled a bit last night, I have to say. I was still hungry after dinner and then extremely hungry for the next few hours. So yeah, I found it a bit difficult to go to sleep, and then I woke up really early this morning at 6 a.m. Hungry, and it's Saturday, so that was sad. And so now I have even longer to have to wait until lunch. So I don't think I don't have any breakfast, but I think I'm gonna have to have lunch at like 11 o'clock or something, because I don't think I can hold out much longer than that. So yeah, cheers to day 3. Okay, so I'm going to be making Seitan from some of my wheat flour. So I'm doing this because today is Saturday, and it's quite a lengthy procedure in order to make this Seitan correctly. And basically I'm just separating the gluten in the flour from the starch. I'm going to retain the starch because I'm going to use that to make a different recipe tomorrow, because it has to settle overnight. But basically I'm going to use the gluten and the end product is going to be something that resembles chicken. It's going to be able to be pulled apart like chicken. It's going to have the same texture, and so yeah, I'm just hoping that I can fry that up in my wok and have it with a bit of rice tonight for dinner, and that it'll turn out delicious. It's always a bit of a gamble cooking a random recipe when you're on rations, because if it doesn't go well, then I'm going to starve. So yeah, I'm trying to be a bit adventurous so that I can have different textures and flavors, but yeah, it could all backfire. So yeah, to start off with, I only want to use a small portion of my flour, so I'm hoping it's enough by the time I get through all the washing steps that there's actually, you know, something left. So I'm only going to be using like 100 grams of flour. So you just want to add water until you get a dough ball, essentially. So I'm just going to do this very slowly because I don't want to waste any flour. And so making Seitan using the washed flour method is actually one of the oldest methods of making Seitan. It was traditionally a Buddhist, Vietnamese and Chinese specialty, and they make they use this process to make use this process to make noodles. Okay, so now I have my dough ball, and so basically now it's just a matter of just put a tiny little bit of flour for dusting. So basically now it's just a matter of kneading it for about 10 to 15 minutes until you get a really smooth dough ball, and until it kind of springs back to touch. Okay, so I've been kneading this for about 10 minutes, and so I think the key to making good Seitan is to follow the recipe 100%. Do not cut any corners, because it is quite a lengthy procedure. So I have been making sure I have been kneading this for the required 10 minutes. So now we need to put it into a bowl of cool water and just let it soak for 1 to 2 hours. So I want this Seitan for tonight, so I'm going to let it sit or rest for like 1.5 hours. Okay, so my dough ball has been resting in this cold water now for 1.5 hours. And so basically the first step is just to tip out this water and replace it with fresh cold water. I'm basically just going to knead the dough ball to try and remove all the starch. And so the water is going to start to go thick and opaque. I'm going to wash out as much starch into this first round of water as I can. And I'm going to retain the starch into this container, and I'm going to keep retaining the starch water as I'm doing the washings until I get this full. I'm then going to set this aside in the fridge overnight to let it settle, and then I'll have my nice starch at the bottom that I'm going to then use for a recipe for tomorrow, because I don't want to waste any of these rations. And so yeah, so you just pretty much just knead the dough, and you want to keep doing the wash until the water is no longer thick and opaque. And also until you get like this kind of like spongy, clingy mass that kind of just sort of holds together. And so you can see the water is starting to go really opaque. So yeah, just going to keep doing this Just, yeah, like squeezing the dough like this in the water, just getting rid of all the starch. Okay, so I have the first wash done, so I'm going to pour the first load of starch into the container. You can see I'm starting to get this nice spongy mass. So I'm just going to keep doing these rinses, probably another 5 or 6 times. Okay, so as you can see, after about 5 or 6 washes, most of the starch, if not all of it, has been removed from the wheat flour, and you just have this spongy mass left that's the gluten. So we're just going to drain out as much water as we can. So, and then just let it sit in this colander for 15 minutes just to rest. So I only got a very small amount of gluten from my flour. So this was from 100 grams. So I'm hoping that I don't live to regret this, because this could have made 3 decent sized pieces of flatbread. Okay, so I'm just left now with this container of starch, which I'm just going to leave in the fridge overnight to settle. Okay, so the gluten has been resting now for 20 minutes. So basically, we just want to stretch it out now. Okay, and so you want to stretch it out as much as you can, but this is only a very small portion of seitan, so it's, of gluten, so it's going to be very difficult to do that. So once you've stretched it out, again, you're just going to let it sit for like 5 minutes, just to settle a bit. Okay, so after it's settled, you just want to cut it, and it's a bit difficult too because I have such a small piece, but you want to cut it into 3 strands, leaving about 1 inch at the top. Okay, so then you have your 3 strands. So then you basically just want to knot the seitan like this. So once you have your braid, again, you just want to let it settle for 10 minutes or so. Okay, so the next step is to take the braid and just to tie it into some knots. Okay, so I have my knot of gluten. And so now, so as you can see, I'm starting to really struggle. I'm really lacking concentration. I'm freezing. I was hoping to have like an earlier lunch today, but I've been caught up making this seitan, and so it's almost midday, and I'm starting to really lack concentration. I'm getting really tired. I'm freezing cold. But anyway, we're almost at the point where I can stop and make some lunch. So so basically now we have our knot. We're just going to boil it, we'll simmer it in like I don't have many options of what I can simmer it in. So I'm just going to be simmering it in a bit of my curry spice for 2 hours just to cook it. So I'm going to put that on now. So unfortunately I'm not going to get much from this. So we'll just place it in there and simmer it for 2 hours. Okay, so just rolling out the flatbread now. So I think the key to making a good flatbread is not to make it too thin, because I made it a bit too thin for the first flatbread I made yesterday, and it went a bit hard the next day when I heated it up. So I think that's fine. So I'm just going to now fry that in my wok in some oil, like I did the other day. Okay, so here I have the 2 pieces of flatbread that I made. 1 piece to have today for lunch and 1 piece for tomorrow. And you can see the seitan is bubbling away there on the stove. Okay, so it is lunch on day 3, and I am really, really looking forward to this. I am so very hungry. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon. I have my glass of water and my rations for lunch, which consists of a small portion of rice left over from yesterday, a piece of flatbread that I just cooked, and the leftover hummus that I made the other day as well. So yeah, oh my god, I cannot wait. Okay, and I've also got a bit of salt on the rice. So I'm gonna go, and I will come back when I'm up to the next stage of the seitan making process. So bye for now. Okay, so it has been 2 hours, and here you can see the seitan. It is cooked. Okay, so the the gluten has finished cooking in the spice that I earned by becoming a self-sponsor. And so now, it's kind of, I'm going to call it Seitan at this point. So now you just want to take it out of the pot and put it into a bowl, let it cool, and then place it in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours. 4 hours is about 6 o'clock tonight, so I think I'm just going to do it for the minimum time, because I'm going to be way too hungry to leave it any longer. So there you can see it. So I'm just going to whack it into the bowl, cover it in broth, allow it to cool on the bench, and then once it's cool enough, I'm going to place it in the fridge until tonight for dinner. Okay, so it's been 4 hours and I've had the Seitan chilling in the fridge. Now to see if it actually worked and what kind of texture we get. So we've just got to tip away this marinade, or this broth. Okay, so this should now pull apart and have the texture of chicken. So, oh wow. Yeah, I mean, you have to squeeze a lot of the water out. But yeah, it's very stringy. It's kind of got the texture of like cooked chicken. So I'm just going to shred this up. There we go. We have like chicken. So I'm going to fry this up in the wok with some oil and my spice, and yeah, fry up the chicken. And then I'm going to add some of the boiled rice to the wok then, and just mix it all together and have hopefully a delicious meal. Okay, so it is dinner on night 3 of the Syrian Refugee Ration Challenge, and as usual I have my glass of water. And dinner tonight looks absolutely amazing and it smells really good. So it's the chicken I made from Seitan, which I extracted from the wheat flour, and rice, and it looks amazing. It looks like I have chicken and rice here. So let's see what it tastes like. Okay, let's try a bit of the Seitan. It has the texture of chicken. That's incredible. Wow, yeah, this is really good. So yeah, I think I made a good choice using some of the flour to make this, because it sort of will break up my dinners a little, so I'm not having such repetitive meals. Yeah, this is incredible. Okay, I'm going to enjoy my meal. Signing off. Okay, so it's the evening of day 3, and I'm still quite full from dinner. The food I had today was varied and satisfying. I was a bit hungry before lunch because I'd waited so long before eating, but yeah, since then I haven't been particularly hungry. I was, when I could smell the Seitan cooking though, I started to get really starving, and then yeah, like I ate that pretty quickly, but I'm full now and I'm fine. So let's hope I stay that way tonight and don't have difficulty sleeping again or wake up too early. So yeah, so tomorrow is day 4, and that'll be the halfway point.